Here we are in Athens on another Troa trip. There's Big Jim. 13th of April.
To Greece. I am Jackie from the local tour agency here in Athens. The driver's name is Yanis, and we think that we will make it to the hotel in about 40 minutes. It's mostly highway, and the last bit will be through some suburbs. It's where we will maybe find some traffic. But I think a lot of people where you have all the suburbs.
Germany, don't you?
I think he said 51.
Maria will come with you tomorrow. She's an official guide.
There, yeah. This is the area of the Acropolis. We'll be touring tomorrow, but we just thought we'd come up here and look around a little bit. This is the Acropolis. We'll be touring tomorrow, as I said before.
Gaat hij naar daar? Het vliezers. Maar is niet mooi ben. Hey, just some
Say something.
Well, these are really ruins. This 5,000 years ago, this was populated with people. Here's this was probably somebody's patio or something, or entrance. The mosaic. Yeah. That's the what up there, you said?
The funeral monument of Philopatros.
Funeral monument of Philopatros.
You're looking at the southern half of the Attica Plain, which is the valley, the so-called Attica Plain. And that is a valley that is surrounded to the south by the waters of the Aegean Sea, Saronic Gulf, which is part of the Aegean Sea. And on the north, on the left and on the right, there were many small waiting rooms. And the inner walls of these rooms were decorated with frescoes and with paintings. And as the Athenians climbed up, they stopped there to catch their breaths. The frescoes are to be seen anymore today. They weren't destroyed on purpose, but the moment the roof of the building collapsed, the colors of the frescoes faded out. So so none of the frescoes are to be seen anymore today. Any questions so far? Yes.
This is the Parthenon on top of the Acropolis, which is this large outcropping in the center of Athens. It's being restored up to a point, but it's a forever job, and this is looking out over Athens to the north. They have these gigantic cranes to move the stones. They take the stones down and repair them, and then they'll be putting them back up. And there's the stadium in the background. And this is looking south to the sea.
When you zoom in and stuff, how does it like go?
March 6th.
We're in the museum with all the statues taken from this Acropolis area. Back out of the museum at the Parthenon. An endless job of trying to rebuild. It was destroyed when the gunpowder that was stored in it was hit by I think it was the Turks, and it blew the roof and everything off of it.
ちょっともう小さいですけどね。
This is looking south from the Acropolis. You take all of the stones and catalog them. They're not stones as such that, you know, they've actually been carved. Catalog them and restore them, patch them and reassemble again. This is taken from the southern side. All of these columns lean in slightly, and the reason being that as viewed from any distance they look like they're vertical instead of leaning in. If they were vertical, they would look like they're leaning out. Breezy up here.
Exclusive residential and shopping downtown area of Athens, which is known as the area of Kolonaki, and it is really within walking distance from your hotel. Where in Athens you will have to have dinner. The monuments up on top of the Acropolis. This stadium has a capacity of 65,000 spectators, and it is the stadium where the first modern Olympics were held. Don't rush to take pictures from the bus. You can get...
This is the stadium for the first Olympics in Athens.
Here we go, Jimmy.
You want a picture of the bus, right?
Rooms on the left and on the right, and it is 11 o'clock, so they are changing. They have changed actually, and now the ones that were standing here for a whole hour, they will be marching back to their barracks, which is by the public gardens, and that happens every hour on the hour, 24 hours a day. Today, they are dressed with a navy blue outfit. On summertime, they're wearing a khaki one, a khaki cotton one. But on Sundays, national and religion holidays, they wear the white one, which there is the name of whoever is underneath written. If you walk all the way down here, you can go up the steps and have a much, much closer view to the fresco. And the last building is of the National Library of the city of Athens. White marble was used for the construction of these three beautiful buildings that were built in the 1840s. Actually, the majority of the neoclassical buildings that we have here in Greece were built at about that.
We are at the Temple of Zeus, and this was a complete building years and years ago, of course, in the ADs, and these are all that's left are the columns, which are amazing. This column appears to have tipped over. What started the bottom tipping is hard to say, but they're all lined up like it just happened very slowly without exploding when it hit. Here's another view of the Parthenon sitting on top of the Acropolis, where we were this morning. Zoom in a little bit if I can hold it still in the wind. that same column that is tipped over, almost like that. Some of this is restored and some of it's natural. These look all restored here. Well, we're in the area called the Platka. And just small streets and lots of shops. Restaurants. Well, we're at another ruins. This is Dionysus Theater. The whole thing is what, the sanctuary of Dionysus, or? Can't read it. I doubt if you can read it. We'll zoom in. But anyway, we couldn't read it if we could read it. Well, this is just a restoration. The lower stones are the originals, and then the top they've added. And they leave them significantly different so that you can tell what's restored and what's not. Marble altar dedicated to Hercules, 3rd and 2nd century BC. We believe this is Herodian Theater. It holds like 6,000. The other held 15,000, Jen. And this has been restored to actually have live shows in it. However, the back wall behind the actors is not restored. We're looking through a fence, of course. Here we are in the port, ready to take off for our day cruise through the islands. Into the 15th, which is Thursday. A lot of money here. Well, here we are in Aegina. Just going to walk around town for a while. Ship will leave in 2 hours. Loading the ferry.
Why can't you see? There's a boat right there. There's a truck going on the road.
Che glossa sei
Yeah. Yeah. That was the fish market. Now we're just in the harbor. We're in a Greek Orthodox church. Very dark. Little islands, mountainous. Like the inland passageway in Alaska. Switchback going all the way up there. It's hard to focus on the very top above that gully there. Vineyards up here. Looks like a villa of some sort, maybe for the vineyards. I think.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, this is great. I like it.
Yeah.
Kind of fell in right there.
Looks like it's been shortening up the hill a bit. our ship left so this other ship could come in and let off its people. And it will leave, and we will leave in an hour. Watch the sailboat come in. Trying to avoid this big ferry. It's now backing out. Interesting how blue the water is with the air in it from the ferry. It churned it up. Off he goes. Okay, we're still in Poros, overlooking the straits over here. Water is deep blue. Well, we were misinformed. The first place we went into, our second place just a minute ago, was Hydra. Now we're going up to Poros. Back to Athens, looking at the lectuary.
By that chimney where the flame is burning. And right across, you can see the island of Salamis, one of the Saronic islands. And it was in the narrow straits between the mainland and the island of Salamis where the battle between the Athenians and the Persians took place at the beginning of the 5th century BC. But for the first time, the Persians came near us. As the Athenian army was marching to meet the versions by the Blade of Marathon, there they met God. Was half a goat and half a man. And
There you go. This is Corinthian Canal. Not very big. Can't get very big ships through. Yeah, the canal connects the Aegean Sea to the south to, and I don't know what it's called in the north. Saves them having to go all the way around the peninsula. But very big ships through here. This sign probably explains it better. And you got to get there.
So that when you get there, you've got it all computed, and if you don't, then everything is for nothing.
This is Corinth, the old Corinth. And we're in a, they call it a museum. And these are the old ruins.
Corinth that had two ports close by. And it was the Corinthian people that were controlling the Diolkos, the wooden bridge that the people had been able to build and were pulling the ships over Parthians to start the Peloponnesian War. That was the biggest civil war of the Greek history between Athens and Sparta and their allies, and it lasted altogether 31 years.
This is a monument to Apollo.
You can see the very wide sidewalk on the front, and only the bases and the capitals of the columns that were creating that shady portico where the people could find rescue from the sun, the rain, and where the philosophers were teaching them. The wide road had sidewalks that came from Acrocorinth.
This is the entrance to the market area. The main road coming in was wide enough for two chariots side by side.
The bathtub.
This is the community toilets. You see the pots. The seats had water flowing underneath them, and these are for the men. The men would sit and discuss things publicly, sit in here. But it was an enclosed room.
But wherever you go, you
There's
find exact copies.
Fortification on the top, which is originally a temple, I guess, to Zeus.
And if you turn at the base of it, it's written when the original was made, and sometimes what museum is exhibiting it.
This is a Roman odium, which I guess is like a theater stage. We're getting this really in southern Greece. A lot of vineyards. Their orange trees all got froze out. I guess last year. Wrecked them all, got down to like 10 degrees Fahrenheit. So if you see brown, it's where they are.
With a wooden door, and there is a very good chance that that wooden door, what you could see from outside, was either decorated with gold or with bronze that was very well polished.
I didn't realize all that was down there.
Getting hazier though.
Yeah, no bad. See water though.
Yep. What are we now at?
We're at Mycenae.
Mycenae.
M-I-K-K-E.
No way. Even Corinth was different. Okay, well, yeah.
I got that one, yeah.
Yesterday, except for Course, they were.
This is in a beehive tomb. almost no light in here, but we'll see. It just goes all the way up. This is the entrance to the Beehive tomb. This is the Acropolis that we were at a little while ago before the Beehive. This is taken from down in the valley. And yeah. Slow moving who? Zip, zip, zip.
Zip, 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 you know.
Oh. This is a big theater.
The ancient Greek people were not that crazy to come in the middle of nowhere and build such a huge theater. But here in front of me, in front of the theater, there was one of the biggest hospitals of the antiquity. Because right here, well, not on the plateau where we are down, because his son was worshipped, who was the son of Apollo, and he was the god of medicine. Asclepius and his son and his daughter, Hygeia, hygienic, Hygeia, health, that's exactly what it means in the Greek language. It's an ancient and Greek word. Were curing the sick people that were gathering here from all over the country. Now, the sick people, of course, did not come by themselves. They were brought here by the relatives. And they had accommodations for the relatives. And they decided during the 4th century BC to build a theater to entertain this and teach the sick people and the relatives that came here. Now, by saying the word hospital in the ancient times, it was very different by saying the word hospital today. Because here what happened was that there was a huge dormitory. And as soon as the sick people were brought here by their relatives, they were met by the priests, who were the doctors at the same time, and they were given a kind of drug to drink. And they were placed to sleep in the big dormitory. While sleeping, after they had taken the drug, they dreamt that Asclepius, the god of medicine, was coming to them and was telling them what type of medicine they should take, medicine that the priests and doctors at the same time made from the herbs, the trees and the flowers that grow in this area.
Girls are singing down here. It's the center of what's called the orchestra, where the actors all presented themselves. It's the seaport of Mafia, where we are going to stay. We're not staying here, or maybe we're staying close to the town. Just thought I'd take some pictures. Castles, more castles. Big castle up on top of the mountain, on the hill. You can see it.
It's about 3 kilometers from the hotel.
About a mile and a half. Less than that. You got running at the left.
It's a tourist place.
No, that's the Venetian castle.
That's the Venetian Castle Buzzi, and that's also the Venetian Castle Palamidi.
Saturday, Sunday,
Oh,
Monday.
that's
That was-
Venetian still too.
Both of them. And this one was restoration of the. Who's going to the school send at 2 o'clock? Who's going to
We're on our way to Olympia.
It's usually the grandfathers that come in the house, and older aunt that will come in the house and take care of the children. The house is spoiled by the grandmother to make the children realize that she can spoil you as much as she wants. You're not going to be spoiled by me as a parent. There's a hard line to put there, but most of the children realize it, that remember, political and especially economical scandals. So the people reached a point where they voted last February, it was that we had our elections. They voted for the Democratic Party, not because they wanted to see the Democratic Party in power, but they wanted to make sure that the socialists would not return in power again. So the Democratic Party,
The only Gregorian chant I could think of was "O come upon Emmanuel," or
You switchbacks going.
These are a lot lighter than the ones in Germany.
I remember those guys.
Yeah, the ones in Germany up
and
over
just before we
over the
escaped
Elbe.
down to Megalopolis, we will make short stops and we can stretch out a little bit, easy breath.
Something coming up. It just has an explanation.
Yeah, we're now going into the museum in Olympia, where the first Olympics were held.
Don't want to do that either.
No one was able to give a decent sanctuary. It's logical. It was a sanctuary dedicated to him. His temple was a huge one. You can see how high the narrow sizes of the temple. Yes, who was the sculpture, who was the most well-known sculpture of the classical times, the 5th century. The other one that is being grabbed by the center is biting the handlepiece, and then the rest of the women that are trying to push the hands of the senators away from the wives. It's the same case on the other side of the mediment. So this is the sanctuary of Zeus at Olympia. Unfortunately, what you will see when we will go to the site later on is not in such a good condition as the buildings, you see them right here. We will enter the site and we will come, it shows Zeus coming down here on earth, grabbing a young boy, Ganymedes. The rest of it are copies, and it was for the first time that the archaeologists decided to add them here so we can have a more complete idea of that Herod of Atticus had made, and then statues of Roman dignitaries and emperors. As you can see, a lot of Roman statues are headless, and it doesn't seem as if there's headway, always with statues of the current emperor. But the emperors were changing very often in Rome, and the sculptors didn't always have the time to create new statues, and they were dressed more or less with the same.
Excuse me. This is the site of the first Olympics. This is Olympia, which I mentioned before.
Look over there, is that like almost so much part of
Those are part of the column that came up here. Here's the top.
Heard something. More likely we're going to be sure. We just have to.
I think it's styrofoam.
This color can turn to be that color. They were placing a gold and ivory table that was usually kept on the back of the temple during the Olympic Games, the last day of the Olympic Games. And it was up on this table, up on this gold and ivory table on top.
Wrong temple. Wrong tower.
I heard the weirdest story from you people. This is the temple of Hera, Zeus's wife. Another Doric temple that is the oldest structure, it's a building of the 6th century BC. If you look carefully at the capital of the columns, you will see that everyone is different. They're all Doric, but they're different. This was such an old temple that originally
lighting of the Olympic torch. We do this every 4 years and carry it to the country where it's going to be, the Olympics are going to be. This is the arch leading to the stadium. Yep.
Line. About 12 athletes could compete at the same time, running the distance of 102 meters, 0.25 centimeters. And the starting line was on the other side of the stadium. The people starting the bands that were created, and this stadium.
Well, it's Sunday now, and we've been in Patra for a few minutes. We're going to catch a ferry in Rios to the other side. But I can't see much. Big bridge up here I want to show. Oh, we turn the corner, we'll be able to see it here. Yeah, this will be good. We will let it run here and take a picture of the new bridge. Yeah, that should be done in July. Yeah. We are arriving on the ferry. These are about the size that we had. Where did we cross?
They're not the best ferries, as you can see, but it's over 5 years now that they have.
Looks like the left end of the center one is going to bend more than it needs to. Looks like it'll be too low. Yeah, they add the extra sides on it, yeah.
Remember what those were called?
Well, this is out of our hotel balcony in Delphi, Greece. It's been raining on and off. And overlooking, we're at about 3,000 feet, and there's a ski area here, just overlooking the water. It's all part of the Mediterranean.
Out, and in the older days they worshipped Mother Gaia with Python, and that monster was killed by Apollo as a 3-day-old baby, purified himself. So people from all over the known world of those days, not just the Greeks, but everybody knew back in those days of the Oracle of Apollo. And they were all coming here several times during their lifetimes.
This is what, the palace, what do you call it? It's Apollo of what? What is it of Apollo? Temple of Apollo? Looking out from the temple.
We're not allowed to go at all because it is an area that hasn't been unearthed by the archaeologists yet. So they're hoping to find more treasures towards that direction, towards the direction of the museum. And we will continue our walk a little bit.
Just pacing herself.
I'm gonna go
So from here, looking onto my left, you can see the treasury of the Aegean Sea, a Cycladic island, and it was built with a 1/10 of the spoils that the Athenians used in that day. Right across, you see a circular base, and that was a tripod of the Plataeans. The Plataeans, there was a city-state, the Athenians gave them a part of their spoils, a share of their spoils, and with 1/10 of the share that they got, they came here at Delphi and made a huge bronze tripod. That was also taken by the Byzantines, of the Chios chewing gum, and there are many shops in Athens where they sell these. But in this island, you can find both black and white marble. And both of those colors were used for the construction of this huge altar. The priests were so impressive when they got that as a gift, so they gave them the privilege to be the first ones to get answers to their questions whenever round buildings like that were found. In the 5 most important religious centers of Greece of the ancient times. We know that the best marble is Lagos, yeah. Steps up, holding the throne.
Bunch of con artists here. I think I'm going to quit. There's no sense in going to the stadium. You are here.
Here comes
John. Oh, good for you, John.
Anyway, John.
I'm saving.
Just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
You can do that with the...
On these walls is written the history of the times. And all these stones have writing on them that have been translated, and this is where the history has come from. This one's a little hard to see. These this way is better. Restoration of the, I guess, armories, where they kept the treasures that were brought up as gifts to the gods, to Apollo. Restoring this.
And one of the most well-known statues, not of the Delphic Museum, but of museums that we have here in Greece, is the bronze statue of the chariot. He is Polyzelos, the tyrant of Sicily. Sicily was a Greek colony. So being Greeks, they could come and participate in all the major athletic events. He came to compete in the chariot races of the Pythian.
This is just a picture of Arahova, where we just were in town. It's amazing that they would build a village on the side of a mountain like this.
Oh, here's another one.
Here we are.
Same group, former group.
They did back then.
Oh boy.
Apollo, the oracle.
Well, here we are back in Herodion in Athens on the rooftop terrace having a little repast.
Hey, hi.
It's our group.
And it is Monday. It's rained off and on this afternoon on the way back. not bad. A lot of traffic. This is the Parthenon up here on the Acropolis again, which is the top of the mountain. And these are the mountains surrounding Athens. Everything is being built to try to get done in time for the Olympics. So. Well, today is Tuesday already. Our free day in Athens, last day in Athens. This is Lycabella. It's the top of a mountain you could see from the Acropolis. Only this is looking south. A little hazy today, so we'll just take a quick shot. Yeah, this is a stadium thing they're building for the Olympics. Should be able to see. Just coming around the northwest, around to west. I'll shoot the other side. And this is the Parthenon on the Acropolis there. And we'll zoom in. Around to the original stadium from the last Olympics.
1896.
1896? Wow. Pretty good shape for 1896. I think they've polished it up a little bit. Well, it's now the 21st, and we are headed. There's the Acropolis back there. Parthenon on it.
There's the last view of it.
And this is the last shots.